If this message has found its way to you, pause for a second. Not because something magical just happened, but because something real is happening inside you right now. Something subtle, something quiet, something you can't fully explain yet. You might not fully understand it. It might not feel like strength. It might not feel like clarity. It might not even feel like progress. But something in you is shifting. And that shift, it doesn't begin with confidence. It doesn't begin with certainty. It begins with discomfort. So before you scroll, before you distract yourself, before you move on like you always do, just breathe, slowly, in and out. You made it here. You're still here. And that matters more than you've allowed yourself to believe. Because a lot of people give up quietly. Not all at once, but little by little. They stop listening to themselves. They stop questioning. They stop feeling deeply. But you didn't. You're still searching, still feeling, still trying. And that says something. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you admitted to yourself that you're tired? Not physically tired. I mean that kind of tired. The kind sleep doesn't fix. The kind that sits in your chest. The kind you carry into every conversation, every decision, every moment of silence. Maybe it's the weight of always being the strong one, the one everyone leans on, the one who shows up, the one who fixes things. But no one really stops to ask, are you okay? Maybe it's the pressure of constantly feeling like you're behind. Like, no matter how much you do, it's never quite enough. Or maybe you've reached a point where you don't even recognize yourself anymore. You still function. You still show up. You still smile when needed. But inside, something feels distant, like the version of you that once felt alive has gone quiet. And here's the part most people never hear. That feeling, it's not the end of you. It's the beginning of something deeper. Because people don't start questioning their life when everything feels right. They question when something no longer fits, when something inside them starts to outgrow the life they've been living. And I think that's where you are right now. Let me tell you something from experience. There was a phase where everything looked completely normal from the outside. Nothing was wrong. Life was moving. Routine was stable. Things were fine. But inside, it felt like being stuck in fog. No direction felt clear. No decision felt right. Even small things felt heavy. And the worst part? Not knowing why. At first, it felt like failure, like something was broken, like I was falling behind everyone else. But over time, something became clear. Nothing was broken. Something was ending. And endings don't always come with closure. Sometimes they show up as confusion, as stillness, as losing interest in things that once defined you. Sometimes they show up as silence. So if you're in that place right now, listen carefully. You're not falling apart. You're being redirected. We've been taught to expect transformation to feel exciting, powerful, obvious. But real transformation, it's quiet. It's uncomfortable. It shows up as a thought you can't ignore, a feeling you can't numb anymore, a pull towards something different, even if you don't understand it yet. And most people, they turn back here because uncertainty feels unsafe, because not knowing feels like losing control. But what if this exact moment, this confusion, this discomfort, this in-between space is actually where everything begins? Think about it. Every major shift in your life started with a moment like this, a moment where things stopped making sense the old way, where what once felt normal started to feel misaligned. That's not failure, that's awareness. And awareness, that's where change starts. But here's the truth most people avoid. Growth doesn't feel good in the beginning. It feels like breaking, like losing control, like questioning everything you once believed. And naturally, your mind wants to escape, to distract, to scroll, to go back to what's comfortable. But if you keep choosing comfort, you stay where you are. So instead, try something most people don't. Don't run. Sit with it, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's messy, even if it doesn't make sense yet. Because within that discomfort, there's clarity. There are answers trying to surface, but they only appear when you stop avoiding them. You're not becoming someone new. You're returning to who you've always been, underneath everything, underneath expectations, underneath fear, underneath the version of you you created just to survive. The real you doesn't need approval, doesn't shrink to fit in, doesn't question their worth. The real you already knows. There's more to life than just getting through the day. And yes, this phase can feel lonely. Not just being alone, lonely, but the kind where even when you're around people, something feels distant, because growth creates distance from people who no longer understand your silence, from conversations that once felt easy but now feel empty, from habits that used to comfort you but now feel like distractions, from a version of life you once accepted without question. And that shift, it can feel confusing, because part of you wants to go back to what felt familiar, predictable, safe, but another part of you, a quieter, deeper part, knows you can't. And that's where most people get stuck, between what was and what's trying to become, between comfort and truth, between who they used to be and who they're slowly becoming. But here's what you need to understand. That distance you feel, it's not loss, it's space. And space is powerful, because space is where clarity forms. Space is where truth becomes visible. Space is where something new finally has room to enter your life. Think about it. You can't pour something new into a life that's already full of what no longer fits. You can't hear your own voice if everything around you is noise. You can't step into something better if you're still holding on to what's familiar but limiting. So yes, it feels empty, but it's not empty, it's preparation. You don't need to have everything figured out right now. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to know exactly where this is going. And you definitely don't need confidence yet, because confidence doesn't come before the journey. It comes from walking through it. What you need right now is honesty. Real, uncomfortable, undeniable honesty. Honesty about what you feel, even if it doesn't make sense. Honesty about what's no longer working, even if you've tried to fix it. Honesty about what you can't ignore anymore, even if it scares you. Because the moment you stop lying to yourself, everything begins to shift. Not all at once, not dramatically, but quietly, subtly, naturally. And if you're still reading this, pause for a second. Ask yourself honestly, what am I pretending not to see in my life right now? If something comes to mind, don't ignore it. Type, I see it now in the comments. Not for validation, but as a small promise to yourself that you're ready to face it. Because awareness changes everything. Once you see something clearly, you can't unsee it. And once you stop pretending, you start evolving. And one day, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not even soon, you'll look back at this phase, this exact moment, the confusion, the heaviness, the uncertainty, and you'll realize something powerful. This was the moment everything started changing. Not when life became easy, not when everything finally made sense, but when you stopped forcing clarity and started accepting truth. So if you feel lost right now, if you feel like you're floating between who you were and who you're becoming, don't panic. That space, it's not empty. It's not meaningless. It's where transformation happens. It's where old identities fall away. It's where new awareness begins to take root. It's where you slowly start choosing differently, even in small ways. You're not behind. You're not lost. You're not broken. You're in the middle of becoming. And becoming is not a straight line. It's messy. It's slow. It's uncomfortable. Some days you'll feel strong. Some days you'll feel completely unsure. Some days you'll feel like you're moving forward. Some days you'll feel like you've gone backwards. But even in those moments, something is still shifting, because growth isn't always visible. Sometimes it's happening beneath the surface, in your thoughts, in your awareness, in the way you're starting to question things you once accepted. And that matters, more than you realize. But here's where it gets important. Don't overwhelm yourself. You don't need to figure out your entire life right now. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to fix everything at once. Just take one step, not 10, not the entire path, just one, a small, honest step, and then another. Because progress isn't about speed, it's about direction. And right now, even if it doesn't feel like it, you're moving in the right direction. You're closer than you think, closer than it feels, closer than your doubts are trying to convince you. Even now, in this exact moment, when things still feel uncertain, unfinished, unclear, you are not as far away as your mind makes it seem. Because progress doesn't always look like movement. Sometimes it looks like endurance. Sometimes it looks like staying when everything in you wants to run. And one day, you won't need reminders like this anymore. You won't need external words to hold you together. You won't need validation to move forward. You won't need reassurance to believe in yourself, because something inside you will settle, not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, like a deep breath you didn't realize you were holding, finally released. You'll feel it within yourself, a quiet certainty, a grounded strength, a calm sense of knowing that doesn't need to be explained. Not arrogance, not ego, just clarity. A version of you that doesn't chase, because they understand what's meant for them won't require desperation. A version of you that doesn't beg, because they've learned their worth isn't something to be negotiated. A version of you that doesn't question themselves constantly, because they've built trust within. A version of you that simply knows when to stay, knows when to walk away, knows when to speak, and when silence says more, knows that peace is more valuable than approval, knows that alignment feels different than attachment, knows that not everything needs to be forced to be real. But until that version fully steps forward, keep going, even if it's slow, even if it's messy, even if it feels like you're not making progress at all. Because sometimes the most powerful progress is invisible. Even if today all you managed to do was get through it, that still counts. Waking up when you didn't feel like it counts. Trying again after yesterday felt heavy counts. Holding yourself together in moments no one saw counts. That matters. That is progress. Because not giving up is a form of strength most people overlook. It's not loud, it's not celebrated, but it's real. And it's what separates those who transform from those who stay stuck. And choosing to continue, even when it's hard, that's where change begins. Not in perfect moments, not in ideal conditions, but in the quiet decision to keep showing up, even when you're unsure, even when you're tired, even when you're afraid. This isn't the end of your story. Even if it feels like a breaking point, even if it feels like everything is uncertain, this is not the end. It's the turning point, the quiet shift before everything begins to make sense. The moment where things start aligning, even if you can't see it yet. The space where old versions of you fall away and something more honest begins to take shape. And what comes next? It's different. Not louder, not necessarily easier, but more real. It's not about surviving anymore. It's not about just getting through life, one day at a time. It's about becoming present in it, feeling it, living it, choosing it. It's about becoming real, becoming aligned with what actually matters to you, not what you were told should matter. Becoming aware of your patterns, your choices, your direction. Becoming someone who lives with intention, not fear. Someone who chooses growth, even when comfort is tempting. Someone who chooses truth, even when illusion feels easier. Someone who chooses themselves, without guilt. And here's the truth. It doesn't start someday. It doesn't start when everything is perfect. It doesn't start when life finally makes sense. It doesn't start when you feel completely ready, because you may never feel completely ready. It starts in small moments, in quiet decisions, in choosing not to ignore what you feel anymore, in choosing to stay present instead of escaping, in choosing honesty over avoidance. It starts right here, not in the future, not in some ideal version of your life. Right here, right now, in this moment, when you decided not to turn away, when you chose to sit with yourself instead of running, when you allowed yourself to feel instead of numbing it. That moment, it matters more than you realize, because that's where everything begins, not with certainty, not with confidence, but with awareness. And awareness changes everything.